Okay, thank you, everyone. Welcome to the March 6th meeting of the Easton's Affordable Housing Trust, calling to order at 6:35 p.m. Wayne, we need to read the remote meeting procedures. You want me to read that?
We need to do a couple of things. First, we need people to state their last name and present. And I can call on people if that's more efficient.
Sure.
Okay, Dastumian,
Dastumian present.
Rodriguez,
Rodriguez present.
Stacy,
Stacy present.
Sheedy,
Sheedy present.
Stephen,
Stephen present.
Miller,
Miller present.
and Sam Hill let us know that she will not be able to join us. And then, of course, this meeting will be held remotely over Zoom, and attendance by board and commission members will be remote, and remote attendance shall count towards a quorum. The meeting may be broadcast live and will be recorded on ECAT. Members of the public can use the Zoom link in the agenda to participate in the meeting if they feel so moved. We'll try to keep meeting operations close to our standard procedures. So when board and commission members are on video and audio, public participants will join the webinar as an attendee, and they'll be muted and they can ask to be promoted or allowed to speak. And an important part of the remote meeting is all votes have to be by roll call. So folks need to state their last name and how they vote. Thank you. Nikki, you're muted.
Okay, sorry about that. Okay, thank you, Wayne. And the first order of business is to review and vote to accept the meeting minutes from January 17th. So has everyone had a chance to review those minutes?
Yes, we did.
I'll make that motion to approve those minutes.
Second, Stacy.
Okay, Dastumian, yes?
Amy,
Sheedy, yes.
Yeah. Miller, yes. Sorry.
thank you.
Sorry. Rodriguez, yes. I don't know what happened.
Stephen, yes.
Stacy, yes.
Awesome. Thank you.
Great. Okay, so next up is update on 26 Pequonnet and 10 Morse Road, which 26 Pequonnet, we had a great update where we had the groundbreaking this week. Well attended. I actually haven't seen too much on online or on social media yet. Has it been? I saw one thing.
It is on the town put it on Facebook.
Yes. I think that's what
Which
I
has,
saw.
I think, gotten a lot of interaction for a
Great.
town post. Yeah.
Okay, to check that.
So do feel free to share that. And I believe it's on the other town accounts as well.
Do I
Definitely.
dare ask if it's positive?
The reports are, I don't actually have Facebook myself.
I don't either.
But
It
yes,
was
it
generally
is.
positive, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Yeah, that people are pretty pleased.
Mhm.
So it seems to be a very good piece of public relations. People seem very happy and pretty supportive.
Yeah, it seemed like that house had a lot of meaning for a lot of people in town, which was really interesting, so.
Yeah, yeah.
The connection with the Southeastern students, that's great that they'll be a part of it as well, right? So they'll
Yeah.
be working on it. They're volunteering.
Correct. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
great.
it's part of their official curriculum or something. This, and I think the Morse
Great.
Road, which is of course right across the street from Southeast Regional.
Yeah.
So very exciting stuff.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
It's really great. And now 10 Morse is by process around the same point as
It's about a year behind, I'd say.
okay.
Because Habitat only has but so much capacity to
Yeah.
do projects, and they're doing, I think, something pretty big in Cohasset at the moment as well. And they, I don't know if you met Noreen Brown. She's my contact there. She's their sort of like projects manager. She sent me some photos this morning, and they've already demolished the house. at 26 Paquonicket.
Yep, I was driving by.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So they're really starting on the site work there, and she said, I spoke with her on Monday, at the groundbreaking, that their plan is to do the site work foundation, framing over spring, summer, and have it have it roofed by, this fall. And then for 10 Morris, they want to at least start site work and clearing this fall. And they don't know how far they'll get with that. But they have some other permits they need to, well, they have their permits in place, but they need to like start work within a certain period of time for them to remain
Okay.
valid.
That's kind of what I meant was, procedurally on, from our perspective, we have done everything that we need to do for 10 Morris at this point, right?
We're
Nothing
done, yeah.
outstanding. Yeah,
Yeah, we actually have like no more involvement,
yeah.
we just.
Except for waiting for the groundbreaking there, which is
Yeah,
going to be, because
Yeah.
Habitat's got a full plate a little
Yeah.
behind. Okay, great.
yeah.
Well,
So,
that's great. I will definitely make a point to go take a look for that on social media and share it because I meant to. It's just it slipped my mind.
When is the work happening?
What's
I
that?
don't
Right.
know. You were asking when volunteers might be or when work is happening.
When is that going to happen? Yes.
I don't know. I think probably spring and summer. Because I don't think there's a lot of volunteer opportunities for like foundation pouring and stuff.
I see.
But I think once they get some of the structural stuff done, then there will be opportunities for helping hang sheetrock or nail up some components. They also said at the groundbreaking that they're planning to have a public meeting here in town to introduce the community to these two projects and to all the work that Habitat does. They did something very similar for the Electric Avenue project several years ago. They had a big public meeting at Frothingham Hall, which was very well attended. So I think when they do that, they'll have a clearer sense of how folks can volunteer and the time frame those volunteer opportunities might be available.
Okay. Very good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Can you just refresh my memory? What's exactly going into Morse? I know we're looking at potentially a duplex. It is a duplex.
Yeah. So they got their special permit to do a 2-family, both affordable.
Nice.
Yeah. And then the 26 Paquonicket is going to be a 3-bedroom. And it has a basement that'll be a walkout. And if they have a family that needs more than 3 bedrooms, they can do a 4th one and a bathroom downstairs. Depending on what partner family they have. You may remember that was one of the things the Affordable Housing Trust was interested in, is like, can we have an opportunity for larger or extended families? Because almost everything is just a 2-bedroom or a 3-bedroom unit. And what do you do if you have a multi-generational household with several children?
All good.
Yeah.
Can you, I'm sorry to ask this question, but how, can you briefly overview like how the family is, I don't even want to say selected. I know it's kind of it's a lottery process, right? It's really
It
complicated.
is, yeah, and Habitat used to have their own method of doing it because they had this a partner family that they worked with on the build. But I think their process is now much closer to the general state affordable unit process, where you have the lottery, you have the marketing, the qualifications, and then the lottery. So I believe they would do something like that.
Okay.
And we already had one person reach out who was interested, and I gave them Noreen's contact information.
Awesome.
So I would suspect that also at this public meeting that hopefully we'll learn more about in the next month or two, there will be a lot more information about how folks can get involved as potential partner families.
Great. Okay. So, is everyone okay to move on to the next Next is Affordable Housing Trust updates to CPC and Select Board. This is on me. I have started working on a long promised presentation of sorts to CPC and the Select Board. Just sort of highlighting our recent accomplishments and demonstrating what we're currently working on now. And then I was going to work with Wayne kind of on thoughts on how we would portray our outlook and goals looking forward, but I know a lot of that will depend on the is the word deaccession of surplus municipal buildings. It's like highly, dependent on that, I would say, but I have started, I wanted to have something to share by tonight, but I've had a child homesick every day this week, so it's been a struggle to get anything really accomplished, but I'm working on it and I will, I'm committed to having it done this week. A first draft of a presentation that we've been, we've met with the CPC a number of times and they're always very supportive and interested and thoughtful about all of our projects. So I wanted to lay it out for them in with some pretty pictures and graphics to demonstrate just some of our highlights, our recent accomplishments, because they are, like we were just talking with 26, Pequannock, some really good feel-good stories that are kind of hard to come by, especially these days, or hard to accomplish and hard to come by. So kind of detailing some of those out. So that I promise will be out soon. I'm working on it.
Thank you,
I'm
thank you.
I'm
We have
really
any
excited for this one
agenda
forward to
as far as when we will be seeing CPC again?
That is on us.
Okay,
So folks may know that CPC has recommended funding for the trust for this upcoming fiscal year. And something the CPC is interested in doing that Nikki is speaking to right now is having projects come in periodically with updates and reports, what's going on. So I am fairly closely involved with putting together the agenda for the CPC meetings. So let me know and we'll, ask the chair. So whenever we feel ready, I think to give them an update, they would love to hear from us.
awesome. Thank you. How often do they meet?
Once a month.
Perfect.
It's the second Thursday, I think. Second
Sounds
or
about
third.
right.
Yeah, second or
Great.
third Thursday, one of those, maybe third.
Excellent.
Nikki, and it's not like you don't have anything else to do.
I mean, this
Second.
is something that we've been discussing for a long time. So
Right.
it really, I'm not promising anything that's gonna knock anyone's socks off as far as presentation wise, graphics wise. I'm no graphic designer, but I can put something together.
Is there any help we can provide or any assistance?
Maybe once I get a first draft, is that something that's cool to circulate around? Or is
Yeah.
that not okay? That might be deliberation, right? Might be.
The way it's supposed to work is you send it to me and then I send it to everyone and then everyone sends it individually back to me, their comments. They don't
Okay.
copy anybody else. So that way it's not a serial deliberation thing.
That would
It's-
be good. That would be
Okay.
beautiful. Great.
Yeah, well, that would be probably my ask. You can take a look at it, see if you have any fancy additions to add or change anything grammatically or content wise. I'm open to edits, but I will get that first draft to Wayne soon.
Bye.
We can
Soon.
circulate it that way. That would be great.
I'm retired now. I have time on my hands, so.
I didn't know
Uh-oh.
that. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
You enjoying it?
I am.
Good for you.
Anything's better than all that responsibility.
I know.
That's it.
It's a
And I
lot.
think the update will be appreciated, Nikki. Like I know the board is really looking forward to hearing this. So
Yeah, the
you know,
board
it's
is
it's
another-
time well spent.
Yeah, and the board's another, losing words right now, like entity that's always been really supportive, and we've
Mhm.
always kind of high leveled said, we're gonna come back and kind of lay out for you what we do, what we want to do, or what we've done. And we just haven't made it there yet. So that's something that is a high priority of mine to get done. So
Awesome.
no overwhelming need, but it's just something that's been discussed. And I
Mhm.
think that, like you said, would be appreciated on for both of those boards. Okay, well, that being said, I think we can move on to AHT's 2024 work plan, finances, municipal surplus properties and discussion. Okay, so let me open that grid up. Are we aiming to move some things around today, Wayne? Is that
For the funding, yeah, I talked to Wendy Nightingale, the town accountant, and
Yeah.
she did have some recommendations. We have a couple of, well, we have three things. We have three sub-accounts that are no longer relevant. We have two projects that have wrapped up. The small development EHA Pequannock and the home acquisition.
Yep.
And minimal money in them, and those projects are done. And then we have got the home buyer assistance program with, a fair amount of money in it, but that's a program that we suspended a couple of years ago. It's no longer being feasible. And then the fourth thing is she recommended appropriating money for the CPA affordable housing admin for FY 25. We've got enough in that account through the end of this fiscal year. But folks may know that this is the Affordable Housing Trust funds a half-time administrative position, which is me. So it goes towards staff salary and other administrative costs.
a worthy investment?
I thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. So, those are the four things we could do. And let's see, put together some draft votes, if that is helpful, if people would like to hear those, or if we want to have a more conversation about the budget first.
I think those are all great suggestions. I'm sad to see home buyer assistance
Yeah,
program be officially wiped off the map, but understand and recognize that it's time.
yeah.
It is suspended and it is not feasible. But I think that I'm ready to hear some votes. I'm just looking at it and scanning through it right now.
Okay. So, one of them, so I think we're all tired. I'm usually much better spoken, but not right now, apparently. So as discussed, the 16,399 in the CPA Affordable Housing Admin sub-account will last through the end of this current fiscal year. And the town accountant says the trust could vote to allocate $49,145 to fully fund admin for the upcoming FY 25 fiscal year. So a motion could be to transfer $49,145 from the small developments general sub-account to the CPA Affordable Housing Admin sub-account.
So moved.
Second,
I'm sorry, who seconded that?
Nikki Adasumian.
Thank you very much. And then it would be a roll call vote.
Adasumian, yes.
Rodriguez, yes.
Stephen, yes.
Miller, yes.
Yes.
Sorry, Miller, yes.
Sorry, we did the same thing.
Casey, yes.
Thank you. And then a second vote could be closing those several sub-accounts for projects that are finished and programs that are no longer active. So it could be a motion to transfer $5,407.25 from the small development EHA Pequannock sub-account $12,471.27 from the home acquisition subaccount,
Mhm.
and $194,833.60 from the home buyer assistance program to the small development general account.
So moved again.
I'll second that again. Disdoomian.
Rodriguez, yes.
Stephen, yes.
Stacy,
Dawson.
yes.
Disdoomian, yes.
Chidi, yes.
Miller, yes.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I'll let the town accountant know, and she can hopefully massage that around. And I might also ask her if we could rename the small development general, because it's not necessarily small development, it's just kind of general at this point.
Yeah.
Um,
Definitely, that has to be renamed. Yeah.
yeah.
Is there any optical reason that we should be considering having more or less line items with more or less money in it? Okay, just wondering.
Yeah, we never used to have this many little sub accounts.
Yeah,
And the town accountant set them up for us when we were getting very busy with several different real estate transactions, and we were trying to track where everything came from. And having a sub account that things go that are paid out of helps you track your project expenses when you have an actual defined project. So it was, helpful for us to track expenses. Which, can be useful, say, for putting together a presentation to the select board of, what we've spent.
Yep.
Rather than having to go through each little line item for 3 years to figure out and, add it all up that way.
awesome. Okay, that's helpful. Okay. So that's that, or that cleans that up, right?
I think so, yeah. I always get so confused with the way the accounting spreadsheets look that I find my bandwidth for understanding more than a few simple moves just does not really do terribly well. So I kind of like to get everything like cleaned up and then get it back in its cleaned up state, and then I have something new to look at. And I'm like, okay, now I can start making other decisions off
Yep.
of it.
Yep, makes sense. Okay,
And
Alrighty.
yeah.
so then, next, oh wait, so we have not discussed municipal surplus properties.
Yeah, or a work plan, like, what are
Oh,
we
yep.
getting up to this year?
Okay.
So, Nikki and I have met with the town administrator in the past, and also the select board to introduce the idea of planning for the potential deaccession municipal properties pending moving forward with the public safety and public works complex. And that is, as we all know, is funded and will be moving forward. So now there will be a collection of properties the town will keep using for a few more years until the new facilities come online. But there is a potentially useful conversation to be had, I think, as a larger community of how these surplus properties could be used. There are any number of needs that they could meet for the town, from selling them for cash money to using them for recreational facilities to using them for affordable housing, whether it be for elderly housing, for family housing, what have you. So there is a grant that we're hopefully going to apply, that we're going to apply for, and hopefully will be looked upon favorably. It's a community planning grant for about $50,000. That is for positioning or for discussing what you're going to do with surplus municipal properties. So that is a one-stop for growth application. And I think the letters of interest are due in the next month or so. So I'm going to work on that letter of interest. It would be nice to get funding. And, we have a lot of plans and studies that could inform the process of drafting an RFP. I would imagine there'd be discussions with stakeholders, input from a larger community of what we'd like to see, having try to quantify some of the challenges for each site and some of the potential. So I think, a good next step would be for Nikki to reach out to the town administrator, through Elizabeth, his the executive assistant, to see if there's a convenient time to come in and meet with him and me and Stephanie, and discuss what would a timeline look like, and how could we scope what we're actually interested in doing with the various municipal properties.
Okay, will do.
Thank you. Yeah. And then that'll give us some information to go forward on. And then, of course, our action plan. And if folks cannot put their hands on it right this red hot minute, it's on the website under Affordable Housing Trust. Does have looking at these potentially surplus properties as potential big projects. So, if we actually get traction with planning for some of these properties for affordable housing, I think that will effectively be what the trust is up to for the next year or two.
3 or 4.
Or 4, yeah. But there are other towns, and I've sent out over the last several years, there are other towns that have done some pretty interesting things with surplus municipal properties. There are towns that have built a couple of good sized low income senior apartment buildings. They've put in affordable homes, small homes on some larger parcels. So there's some pretty interesting and creative things that one can do. And with a larger and more interesting and creative project, you can leverage interest from experienced nonprofits, from larger funders. So, there's a level of really neat stuff that can happen that we have historically not really been involved in, because we don't have larger, complicated projects. But some of these could lend themselves to something really pretty creative.
Very cool.
Yeah, it could be neat.
So I'm pretty sure off the top of my head, none of these buildings sit in any of the MBTA community districts.
No,
Yeah, okay.
no, they do not. Yeah. And I think that's also a good segue. I'm kind of looking through our our action plan, and another initiative is being involved in the MBTA communities project, which we have been doing. And as folks remember from the presentation last time, it's moving forward hopefully to town meeting in May. And the planning board is finalizing some of the sub-districts. And we did the required feasibility analysis, and 10% is the maximum we'll really be able to do for affordable, for inclusionary zoning. But so we did our due diligence. But it is going to have a 10% affordability component. So hopefully it will have a successful vote at town meeting, and might generate some redevelopment of properties that could benefit from that in parts of town where it would make sense to do so. And if folks here have any questions, do please call me or Stephanie Danielson. Stephanie has been very, 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 very clear that she will talk to absolutely anybody who has any questions at all.
What's
you
our
guys have done a great
SHI
job on it.
number at?
I heard 2 people speak, and I
Sorry.
heard Chris Ann ask about the SHI number. We're down below 10% again. We're at like 9.7. with this last census. We are, I think, like 56 units below the 10%. So we're trying,
All we can do.
all we can do. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
And then another thing I'm thinking about, and this, might be a Nikki thing, a Jen thing, I'm not sure. The planning board has a lot of new members. And I think has some potential interest in revisiting some some of the zoning assumptions for some parts of town. And there might be an interesting conversation to be had with, can we have a more holistic approach to, revisiting some very old zoning. And maybe, that could be a conversation with between you, Nikki, and the planning board chair is Bob Stetson nowadays. So I think that could be an interesting conversation to have and start thinking more town-wide about how to advance diverse housing options. Have that conversation with the planning board.
would I be correct in saying that there was, it seemed that some members, some of the general public would be open to having those kind of discussions? That was kind of something that was brought up at the planning board. Was it a hearing? Was it technically a hearing?
Yeah, it was a hearing, yeah.
Yeah, it seemed to me that some of the people that were paying attention and were involved and invested in this were open to having discussions under the town umbrella rather than the state mandate.
That was a statement that several people did make.
Yeah.
And there are parts of town that have very out of date zoning. And could have an opportunity to look at, mixed use, mixed income, inclusionary, different sizes of units. People are really interested in small houses on small lots. Seniors are really interested in downsizing one level living ownership opportunities. So, how could zoning be amended to encourage and facilitate these sorts of developments?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. So should I reach out to the planning board chair?
I would reach out to Bob.
Okay.
If you have his contact info.
Yep. Well, I can find it, I'm sure.
Yeah, or call Stephanie and ask her about it.
Yep.
She can do that. And then I'm looking for, oh yeah, of course. And then other stuff really is just keeping our ears to the ground, when open space, potential conservation projects, is there a possibility to have a housing component? There's nothing in the offing right now that I know of.
Mhm.
And then I still need to put together some documents for that grant program for people buying, for the new buyers of old affordable homes that need work up front. The last year, I'm embarrassed to say, has gotten away from me. MBTA Communities has basically eaten so much of my time. But that is something I do need to produce.
I know it's been a ton of work for you guys.
Been busy. But interesting, never a dull moment, right? So I think action items, a lot of it actually seems to fall on you, Nikki. I'm sorry. Would be thank you.
What I'm here for.
Thank you, ma'am. So reaching out to the town administrator's office to set up a meeting to the planning board chair to have a conversation. I think are the two biggies. And
Yep.
then we'll be on the lookout for a presentation draft that we can work
Awesome.
on. What else was on our agenda?
That's it.
I think so. Yeah, cool.
Does anyone have anything else? Oh, how about planning or setting a time for our next meeting?
Yeah, we should do that. What are people thinking? So this was what, a second Wednesday? First Wednesday?
First Wednesday?
Which was a little arbitrary. I think we just picked it because we had like school vacation week and everything.
Right.
So do we need a sooner meeting or is a month away adequate? I think a month away should be fine, right? There's
The
nothing.
first
like
Wednesday in
breaking.
April would be April 3rd. I think that's probably a good week to do it if everyone's available. It's before vacation week and,
Right, it's after Easter.
yep,
I can't do the actual 3rd. I
Okay.
could do the 4th if that works for folks. To go back to a Thursday.
Thursday is fine with me.
Yeah, fine with me too.
That's fine.
Yep.
Thursday, 6:30?
Yes.
Thursday, April 4, 6:30, Affordable Housing Trust,
Okay. Got it.
HT. Cool. Awesome.
Mhm.
Great.
So I guess what is our next step here? We have a motion and a second to adjourn and a roll call vote.
Motion.
Second.
Second. Oh,
Oh, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
lots of seconds there.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
We're eager. Okay,
Indeed.
Kasumi, yes.
Rodriguez, yes.
Steven, yes.
Stacy, yes.
Miller, yes.
Sheedy, yes.
Beautiful. I love it. All right,
Awesome.
7:11, we're adjourned. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Everybody.
Thank you.
Talk to you soon.
Take care.
Bye.
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 Hey.